we failed what we started last split. Pero ngayon, sisiguraduhin namin ng IPT na kami yung mag-number 1 sa PGS.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series 2017 Summer Split. Drive your energy. I'll be your shoutcaster for the last game. I am Vulcan and joining with me is my co-caster Arctic.
Yes, indeed. Very interesting. And wow, what a game earlier. TME actually defeating sister team IPT. So it's very interesting how these roster changes really work out. So I'm actually interested in seeing how IPT will be responding to this. So of course, this is going to be our last, not only the last matchup, but the last game for day 1, week 1 of the Garena Pro Gaming Series summer season. I'm actually quite happy. We're really starting off this split with a bang based on all these games that we've been seeing thus far.
Very exciting games because not only we saw the new teams, Asian Arena and Infuse, duking it out and going on top, but also Minaski versus Jankski, where Jankski was the top 4 who made the playoffs, while Minaski was the representative of the Philippines in the GPL, and now Team Manila Eagles, a sister team of IPT, takes away a victory.
And you know, I'm really happy with the results thus far because, as I've been preaching during previous splits, I consider Marky one of the best, if not the best ADC. So it's really refreshing to see that that potential is actually being unlocked. That performance on that Sayo earlier, absolutely amazing.
Yes.
So I'm really expecting great things from TME this split, especially with the recent roster changes.
And also note that IPT and TME, a short history, there is this thing called the curse of JLC and Suzaku, because Suzaku has never won a game where JLC is on JLC's team. So coming in from the owner of IPT is a nice trivia. That's why this game has that rivalry. But to our viewers out there, note that we are still on the match and win promo.
Oh, yes.
Remember the skin giveaway, the Imperial. Watch out for the code. You can guess any number you want. You have no clue. So it's a matter of luck and how much you are determined to get a free skin.
And you know, I'm actually quite jealous of the viewers right there. Earlier, during the first matchup, they actually gave away an Arcade Ezreal. I don't have... Oh wait, no. My main account actually has that skin, but I usually use those type of... Since I'm not really good ADC myself, so I tend to ADC on my Smurf account, so I don't really have that skin to flaunt when I go for Ezreal and ultimately probably featuring him.
I'm actually happy that you don't have that skin, so you don't feature. So, okay. Going to the last game. IPT on the blue side versus TME on the red side. So we are seeing the last picks of IPT. We've seen it before, the Ivern and the Zyra, but note that, will they ban out Marky as other teams usually do when it comes to the PGS games? I mean, we do see that other teams, when we first get Mineski, that TME always lacks a lot of ADC. That's why last split, Marky was sometimes forced in an ADC like Jin, where he does not really shine too much.
Yes, indeed. And that's actually an interesting point that you brought up, because that being said, this is actually a true test for teams.
Skill.
In between, yeah, there is skill.
It's all skill.
It's all skill. But at the same time, kumbaga, yung mga mistakes nyo ng previous split, kumbaga kung ano yung nakitang weaknesses sa inyo, yung in between ng split during the break, parang yun yung pagkakataon na ma-adjust nyo yung mga mistakes or weaknesses na yun, so that going into this, like the current split, yung hindi na siya weakness na ma-exploit. So let's go ahead and check out the picks right here.
Yeah, first pick on to Zach for IPT. Going in for Kulin, and we did see that Zach really performed. It's pretty laughable because of his changes to his kit. The Let's Balance. Wow, I cannot stress enough the pressure he can offer in a team fight. Not to mention his Q. It's very annoying that it's like you Q1 guy, then you slam it together, offers more utility and continuous team fight. Zach is not anymore is this one trick guy where he just goes in and cannot escape anymore. He goes in and he escapes with some victims.
And you know what's interesting is that minsan sa mga weird scenario, although for this particular game, we're clearly going to see Zach in the jungle, there have been those interesting games in other regions where they actually send the Zach support, and it actually, weird enough, it works because technically you do, like within the first few minutes of the game, you do have 2 targets to attack with that Q. So anyways, nonetheless though, we will be seeing that Zac top though. Interesting though, in exchange, we have another mid-season change champion right here, which has risen to some level of prominence. That is going to be the Sejuani locked in for TME. And you know what's interesting? Another one of those picks where ito yung interesting actually. Yung tatlong champ na in-update, yung Maokai, Zac, and Sejuani, all three champions suddenly find themselves in flex positions as well. Sejuani naman, jungle, but at the same time, there are these weird instances where we do, actually, there we go, where we do see her top, so this might actually be one of those games right here, as Rek'Sai is now locked in for Team Manila Eagles.
Yes, as Arctic said, Sejuani is a flex pick. I mean, I've actually been the first victim of a Sejuani top, and I can say it was not pleasant. But thanks to the recent changes to how the Sejuani scales, more manageable, gone are the days where she starts with 300 armor, just level 6. That's a bit of an overkill, but yes, adjustments coming in, and that's why you'll be seeing IPT running the same strategy, bringing in some new flavors towards this game.
Whether or not this will actually translate to a win for them, though, that is still a question, because I'm really liking this new TME. Like JLC actually showing very reminiscent of the JLC that we've seen in seasons past. So there's a lot of strength that I'm finally seeing. And with the Sejuani, I'm actually interested lalo to see how that'll translate for him in that top lane matchup with Suzaku. Plus the fact that Rox as well, if you guys look back at like seasons way back, Rox was one of those active players back then. Was a little bit of on a hiatus-ish during the previous splits, and now he is back stronger than ever. And the synergy with Marky, I'm actually quite surprised, as these are the type of performance that you don't really normally expect of players that come back from such a long hiatus. But then again, knowing TME, they have seen such people such as Koops, now Rox, you know, players that haven't seen as much competitive play because of their hiatus, but now come back stronger than ever as we head into this matchup for today.
This is pride on the line. I hope for Suzaku's sake that the curse breaks right now today in the last game, the last chance they can actually 1-1 TME. But if Team Manila Eagles are still strong going into the second game, spells very bad news for IPT.
Indeed, because what's interesting is that for the unique scenario with IPT and TME, I mean, because for other teams, we could consider them roster changes, but what happened here with both TME and IPT is more of a jumbling of players switching sides. So at the end of the day, this is a true test as to which team actually emerged much more stronger with these changes. Is it IPT now that they've acquired both Shadow and Suzaku from TME, or is it the opposite, wherein TME finally finding the necessary ingredients to perform? Because I've personally estimated TME to be one of the best teams, so we'll be checking out later on the rep.
And hello guys, and now we are loaded onto the Rift, the last game of today's match. This is the first day of the PGS first week. More to come, very excited to see the outcome. IPT on the blue side versus Team Manila Eagles on the red side.
And if the games are this intense just on the first day, I could only imagine what further games that we'll be seeing further along in the split. But there we go. So one thing that's actually interesting is that if you're going to look at the itemization, I'd like to give particular attention to TME Marky right here, because Doran Shield in the past is normally something that you'd see on a tank, or perhaps on your, usually for the top laner, or sometimes for in those awkward situations that they don't opt for that support start for supports din minsan. But that being said, because of the rework on Doran Shield, just to give insight to our audience right here, it's actually quite viable and somewhat of a normal pickup now for ADCs, because looking at the stats here, you get, sure, there's that 80 health, which actually is the reason why it was somewhat of a reason why it is a tank item. But plus that fact, you have that
extra 5 damage.
Yes,
when you
extra
hit from a minion. So it's like you have that plus 580. Well, not to mention the unique passive you get from it.
Exactly, and that unique passive, of course, you restore 20 health over 10 seconds after taking damage from an enemy champion. So that's big, kasi knowing how bot lane works with these trade-offs, ang laking bagay ng 20 health na yun that you regenerate. So Yeah, so
It's
baka
like,
yeah.
in a way, it's like you're saying that instead of putting yourself at a danger to just lifesteal, you instead just wait it out. You
Yeah.
will regenerate it over time. So in short, it's like more the run for your money. Plus, you start with 2 pots.
Yes, exactly. And tsaka, oh, there we go.
Wow,
A little bit of a
Marky
trade-off.
going at it on to hate. They know who to target. Face checking is something that is a sickness right now for our teams. I mean, we did see in game 1 where IPT face checked the Baron, paid a huge price. The Baron plus all the members, just the morale just broke.
And you know what's interesting? Kasi, di ba, merong ongoing joke na AD season 2017 as to how vulnerable they are. I feel like that Doran Shield startup actually is one of the minute solutions to kind of remedy that in the early phase. Although, medyo questionable pa rin sa mid and late game. Pero at least sa early game, medyo nalunasan siya ng unting-unti.
Yeah, you have that safety thanks to the innate passive, AD health, and not to mention, you don't put yourself in a risk in a position where enemies can pick you off. You do regenerate the health, but going on to the jungler side, Coops will be running on the Rek'Sai, whereas Kulin will be his first time running that Zac in today's split, the summer split. So I'm really excited. I really want to see how Kulin is able to use that Zac to its full potential.
Yeah, but then again, of course, he has his work cut out for him because he is up against one of probably now what I could say one of the teams to look out for this split, TME with this roster right here. And you know, you could have one of the more OP champions, but at the end of the day, if your onslaught is hindered by great players that know how to work around that, then it pretty much goes to moot. And knowing TME, this is a team that is to look out for. They have proven that during the game 1 earlier when they took down their sister team, and I'm only expecting more great things from them as the split goes on.
Great potential for TME, not to mention the key player and the featured matchup would be Trevor and Light. So Light has been around with PGS a very long time, a veteran in the PGS, who has extraordinary and really a lot of experience, and his play style was really well known around the international scene. But let's hope that he can make his name big again this time for Summer Split.
That's actually a good point that you brought up. Kasi if you're gonna look at veterans, some of them just come and go. Like, they have a certain prime in a certain season, but they couldn't get their game back as the seasons progress because of all the neophytes that come in with such huge potential. So it's refreshing to see yung mga players such as Light that has been in the scene for so long but still has that moxie to just really perform in these games.
It's like Light is the staple produce you see all around.
Yes,
He's available everywhere. Not to mention, he does not really falter when the new season comes and new patches always renew the mid lane. Especially, Light was known for his Azir way back.
Ah, yes.
Yes, it was the Imperium Proof's device. So it's going to be very refreshing to see how Light will be adjusting to this.
Indeed, indeed. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's pretty much how it works here, especially for veterans. Yung adjustment talaga. So again, we'll just have to see if that'll translate for him in this game. Not only for this game, but for the entire split. Because that's one thing that you don't want to happen to you as a veteran in the scene. You don't want to fall off. But here we go. This is
Here comes Scope, playing the Jaws game onto Suzuku, gets unmounted. He cannot run away, gets stunned. But however, has his flash, makes it away with a life.
Oh yeah, that's going to be very good. This will grant JLC the opportunity to miss out on the farm because there's a 5 CS difference between the Kled and the Sejuani right now. So that's actually a very well timed. Because yung mga smallest things matter when you have 2 strong powerhouse teams up against each other. Like right down to the smallest CS makes the difference for these 2 teams. So it's actually, it might not have translated to a kill, but that is a summoner spell down.
Yes.
Plus the fact that it grants JLC to farm up.
And JLC and Suzaku still has that rivalry. I mean, you've heard it before in game 1 where Suzuku cannot catch a break when JLC is on the enemy team. He cannot win a single game so far. So I hope he breaks the curse right now in the first day of the PGS.
And you know, pag yung mga ganun kasi, Suzaku is one of the best players in the Philippines. I've talked to some pro players. One of the questions that I somehow bring up during the longer question and answer portions is if you could peg one player that you feel is ready for, like we could send abroad to compete on a different team would perform really good. They mentioned Suzaku quite a lot. And I'm not surprised because he is one of those people that's very consistent sa challenger ladder natin. Like he's had these long sprees in the top 1 in the past. So yeah, I mean it's
Oh,
interesting how JLC is one of those things that deter him.
Oh, gets blocked by Coops. The charge will not save his life this time, and this will be a first blood for JLC. He pays a heavy price. You see Coops ganking for the first time. You respect that by placing a ward, and Suzaku did not do that. Because of this, he just gave first blood to JLC.
And you know what I really like about this is JLC last split he was pretty good, but he wasn't the great JLC that we knew of in comparison to previous splits. That being said, it's quite refreshing that we're actually seeing the JLC that we've considered the best top laner noon because of how well he works with his team na, which has been somewhat absent, if not as prominent during previous splits.
Yes, and now he plays a ward after he gets the first blood. So, earning your lesson the very hard way.
Indeed.
So, to add to that what you said about JLC, yeah, he was this really threat in the top lane, where in the tank meta, he was so powerful.
There you go.
And now, we're going to be seeing a return of the tank meta, something where JLC will definitely shine.
He's going to thrive so much.
He's going to thrive so well.
And look at how he's been playing this Sejuani, really setting up for Coops here. He's definitely in command. Even though with that CS difference, still, I mean, at the end of the day, he has that excellent setup for when Coops goes for the skags. Sure, which is why, as we've seen, Suzaku made the proactive decision to make sure that he has consistent vision.
Oh boy. There's some curiosity going on in the river. Wards are being placed. Gulit is trying to get a grab onto Coops, but will have to be forced to back away. Risk nothing and earn your CS.
Yes, indeed. And actually interesting, JLC
boy.
on the Sejuani.
Oh, he misses the bear trap on a rope. There's the permafrost stack, hitting properly that, wow, the damage.
It's interesting because Suzaku was the one that initiated that trade-off, but he's the one that came out so short-ended, almost half of his health gone, almost proccing that Snarl to
Wow.
So, that being said, I actually like the itemization coming from JLC here, yung double Doran.
Yeah.
Very,
Very good. And did you see the feathers of Marky? Aligned in a straight line. I'm pretty satisfied just by looking at that. So, yeah, as you said, Suzaku has to be very careful. When you engage on a Sejuani, yeah, that's the price you pay. Sejuani is somewhat of a champion you do not underestimate. Keep track of the Frost Armor before going in. The burst will mean nothing to a Sejuani, especially JLC, who is known for that tank tops.
Exactly, and this is actually interesting because at the same time, if you're gonna look at how Kled functions, he's the type of champion that you wouldn't necessarily build Corrupting Potion because he doesn't benefit from the mana. But here we go.
Ooh,
Both
look at that. Did you see how Coops had that second thought? You know why? Look at the state markings as half health, not enough mana, a good call.
Indeed. Not to mention the fact that Kudlit was actually within the vicinity. That would have been disastrous for TME had they actually pursued that. So the restraint, ito talaga yung mga high caliber teams that
Oh, do you hear that? I heard a Zac setting up for a slingshot. Here comes Coops on the red side of IPT. Teleport. Coming in from the top lane. Gulit spotted out. JLC makes his way onto Hate. Permafrost stack will proc even if you flashed away. Here comes the Galactic President of JLC for a tower dive. Marky is free to spam his feathers. A close double kill.
Oh man, that is definitely worth TME.
Wow,
they have
that was pretty close.
And plus the fact that if we're gonna look at this, they could go for a tower, they could go for a dragon. There's so many options, and there's no way that Suzaku could actually match a 4-man push for that first turret bonus.
Let's see who will get the first turret, but seeing how 4 members are really investing their time, Suzaku is trying his best, but I don't think one champion can match the auto attacks coming from 4 with a first turret going to TME.
There we go. It's very worth, and you know they could go for this dragon to boot. So there's definitely a lot of rewards that TME is reaping from this. And right down to if you're gonna look at the the goal difference at the same time, 2-5 at 11 minutes. So that's actually a great start for TME at this point. IPT definitely needs to kind of recuperate and figure out what to do.
Boy, look at that Ocean Drake after the first turret. The worth of JLC's teleport is paying off.
Definitely. So
Wow, this is a different TME we've seen thanks to the recent roster changes. We are seeing the sister team looking to overthrow this.
I am such a fan right now of how not only how TME is playing, but just the roster. This is like perhaps maybe JLC was the missing piece to taking TME to the next level, or maybe vice versa. Maybe JLC needed the type of play style that TME has to just really shine and go back to the JLC that we knew within his glory days. And maybe this could be the golden era for him. Maybe the comeback.
Yes, the patch where the tanks are back with a vengeance.
Yes.
And not to mention, the itemization for the tanks are very rewarding. But we also have to give it to Marky. One of the ADCs that first came into the PGS for Celestial really caused an earthquake. I mean,
Indeed.
a magnitude so much that pro teams were actually really looking forward to putting Marky in the game, and now TME has him for the main roster.
I'll be the first to admit, I was such a fan of the Celestial roster before every single player, like Marky, ADC, and then I was, like, I rarely look up to Filipino players. Like, parang it really takes a lot to, and hold that thought right here, we actually have some action happening.
Oh, JLC instead goes for a splash in permafrost, but gets bounced back by Kulit. Here comes the charge from the top lane. There is the tidal wave to knock up Scoops. Misses Trevor by a pixel. So Suzaku really was aiming for a rotation there, but I guess TME, they do not want to risk it, but instead IPT will be trying to nab this Rift Herald from them.
Compare and contrast, what's the first drink in comparison to the Rift Herald?
Here
which
comes
would-
Rocks. Sandwich attack, perhaps. We'll see. You've killed the Rift Herald, IPT, but you'll be getting away safely. Marky cannot back away safely. We did see the Zac going in, but in the mid lane. Yeah, that was going to be disengaged. Very close call for Light, though. Winning the trade-off.
Oh man,
in the
IPT
mid lane.
taking no prisoners, but looks like things aren't done just yet.
Yes, and JLC, though, gets blocked by that blast cone. I mean, one more stack in the permafrost, that would have been a huge call for him.
Exactly, and here comes
Oh,
the
here
Rift
it
Herald.
comes. This is exciting.
Yes, let's
Here
see
it comes, the
what
Rift Herald.
happens. Vulcan, if you guys could only see Vulcan right now, he's very excited.
Oh,
Look at the
yes.
damage.
That's what you want from an objective that's really high priority in the top lane. Gone are the days where bot lane is only the one being focused. Now it's the top lane, but JLC goes in with his Sejuani cleansed out line. But there is the CC from Collegiate Zac. And now JLC again in game 2 being that frontline threat.
I mean, what's interesting at the same time is that Rift Herald, normally you'd hope that it would result to a turret taken down, but still, the mid turret for TME actually survives with not really a slither, but still a substantial small amount of health.
Oh
So,
man.
Here we go though. Look at
This
this.
is the same rotation we did see from game 1.
Indeed, indeed. And yeah, I mean, IPT definitely, I mean, they're definitely showing some signs that they're not just going to go down that easily. They don't want to let their sister team take that spotlight just yet. Very even now on the scoreboard here. But yeah, I mean, what a, ooh, 1v1 though.
Just duking it out, but in the end, it would be JLC coming out on top. Look at the burst with the Sejuani, because the ultimate is on cooldown, but right now, Kulit is looking for the right time to help out Suzaku.
I love the discipline coming from JLC because if it were any other player, they would have fully committed. But he knew that they had no information on where Kulit was on this map. That being said, he knew that he shouldn't overstep his boundaries, contented himself with that trade-off, and just kind of played a little bit more safer and backed away.
Gotta hand it to JLC. Very composed right now in this summer split.
Composed, it's actually an interesting word that you brought up because composed is, oh, wait a minute. Okay, so we actually have Coops here. Manages to take a kill off of Hate. So, but yeah, as I was saying, composed isn't technically something I would normally peg as a word that you'd use to describe how JLC plays, but it's this time around, it pretty much does apply.
So in the bot lane though, again, Suzaku really wants to get JLC back, but that's just so difficult. You're facing against a Sejuani. That Frost Armor passive is a huge setback for a Kled, where he excels and burns damage, and now there is the vicious strike. The violent tendencies will give JLC the signal to fall back.
You know what? That's interesting that you brought that up because, oh, here we go though. Kulit trying to make a play.
So gummy,
Oh.
gummy. And guys, there is the code for the program Soraka. Okay,
Oh, man.
guess that missing number and you win yourself a free skin, 250 Imperial. That is a really nice promo.
Can I leave you just a sec so that I could... I'm just kidding, because I really want that skin. I mean, as a support main myself, like, Program Soraka is a pretty nifty skin. Perhaps goes up to par with the Reaper Soraka. Anyways, enough skin talk. Going back into this game right here. I fanboyed a little bit for right there. But yeah, TME. Oh, here we go. We hear that charge.
Arctic, I don't think the teams are going to give you enough time to bring your point up. And wow, we did see that Coops was about to intercept it, but the speed from the charge, come on, you can't match that.
Yeah, indeed, indeed.
So going back to what you said, Arctic.
I was actually lost because that was loving the action here, but Kulin actually goes for the last
Drabor gets bounced in, and a shockwave combo. The petrifying gaze only affects Kulin with Shadow picking up a kill. Here comes the teleport from the top lane. IPT Suzaku goes into the JLC. Here comes the Fenestar. Marky is not being touched right now under the turret. Not enough mana for him to spray that much, but here comes Rocks for the assist, and now a re-engage from Kulin, though, a knock-up, a two-man knock-up. Hate is able to free hit with ease, and now Marky is trying to clean up the fight. Will he get a kill? He cannot, he's restricted by that mana.
Oh man, I'm taking that back right away, but it looks like they're not done yet.
It hurts right here, and that's an ace. The mana restriction for Marky.
Grabe, we've been putting up a lot of kudos to TME, but IPT
Yes.
actually showing that they still have some mods within them. That power, that ace coming from them to boot, that was absolutely beautiful.
Yes.
And that being said, 304 on this Oriana. So light, grabe. Talagang, this is what we've been talking about. So let's go ahead and check out what transpired here. So Kulit actually has a great elastic swing shot, not necessarily connecting, but still it did its job because he was able to reel Trevor back in enough time for Light to follow up. And that being said, this teleport was actually quite dangerous for TME. If anything, he probably should have cancelled it because he only found himself in an awkward position because none of the members of TME were in that vicinity to follow up. So it just spelled death for him, taking a lot of damage. And technically, he's been doing good, but remember, he built double Doran Swing, so he's not quite tanky just yet. So TME just kind of succumbed to this. It's the numbers game at this point. So 5 members of IPT still alive. That TME was probably a little bit over ambitious. That sure, they were still very healthy, but IPT just one elastic slingshot in made all the difference.
And look at Marky, restricted by that small mana, could not do the plays he wanted. So that would be a clean ace, in my opinion, for IPT. They played around TME so well. They really played with their skills, really wasted their resources, and that's how they came on top.
And oh, it looks like we have another fight here.
It is. It's soaking so much damage, but the Essence Reaver is gonna really pay off, but not enough crit chance yet. But in the Riverside, in the bot lane, Suzaku really feeling the heat from JLC Sejuani. This is personal. Suzaku flashed away from the last combo. Violent tendencies will bring back Skarl. Here comes Skarl, and here is Kulin for the assist. The bear trap on a rope will help him keep him under control. And now the charge is there, gonna be diving this turret. JLC just lost that fight.
Here we go. That's gonna be the bounce away for Kulit.
That was so personal. I felt it.
That I know. I felt
it.
I mean, like, it's the battle of the top laners
Yes.
here. They switched teams. They wanted to prove who was better. But I mean, like, had that been a 1v1, that JLC would have definitely won that. But good on Kulit for actually responding. Because at the end of the day, this is a team game.
Yes,
So
it is a team game, and the coordination of Colette was on point.
definitely. And
So-
Kulit has been around this map for quite a bit. And it's definitely really showing in his record. 2-0-5, that's almost a perfect 100% kill participation.
It's also the fact that Suzaku also used his flash to get away from the last hit from the Sejuani. But here it is. What's more important, the Ocean or the Baron? TME says, let's take the Baron. But will they make it out alive? IPT is a bit too close. And wow, the clear, thanks to Marquis Saya, will be enough. And there's the slow members of TME trying to back away. No charge left. Suzaku did use it in the bottom lane.
Lucky for TME, they did actually have that ward towards the lower part where they spotted out IPT transitioning into that dragon. That was pretty much the go signal for them, seeing that IPT was fully committed to taking that dragon. You know, it's just, this is the high caliber play that I've been talking about, and what better team to demonstrate that. And one thing I would actually like to bring up is yung follow-up that was kind of absent from the first and second matchup. Yung sinasabi ko, kapag may nag-setup na setter nyo, yung susundan nyo agad ng damage, and that was actually what happened earlier when Kulit jumped into TME when they outnumbered TME. So again, it just goes to back up why I consider these two teams such high caliber teams, because they execute, they know when to follow up, they know when to withdraw, they know when to roam to respond. It's just perfection from both IPT and TME. Again, two of the teams that I preach as one of the strongest teams in the PH right now.
And you gotta also say that, I mean, TME, they've been fighting IPT for practices. They are sister team. So, in a way, I think TME absorbed something from IPT. And that's why they are this good so far in the second game. Especially JLC coming back for his name as one of the best top laners in terms of pack matchups.
But you know, he has to be a bit careful now, because sure, he did shine within the first few minutes of the game, but now 1-3-1, not the best standing right now. So, but yeah, I mean, again, I couldn't 100% blame it on him, because he's actually been performing superb against Sukaku in a 1v1. But then again, if you're going to look at the overall picture across the board for Team, that's a different story. Trebor not actually being able to do as much on this Cassiopeia. If anything, we haven't really given particular focus on him, because he isn't as prominent in terms of not only just the performance thus far, but because he's clearly outshined by not only members of TME that are performing better in this game, but also because IPT, in contrast, Light 3-0-4 against Oriana. I mean, who wouldn't highlight such a great performance?
This is the reason why Light and Trebor is the future matchup for this game. I mean, Light, just saying the name is enough already. He is the best mid laner for IPT. Has been around so long, a veteran on top of that. But right now, Kulit really trying to find his place. Going in for a time. There it is. Look at that. See, he was right there. He was looking for his place to go in, but I think JLC spots that. And here it is. The attack, and JLC on the turret gives a kill towards Suzaku. And now Copes will have to be forced away.
Oh man, that isn't the best situation for JLC right there. Not only did he miss his glacial assault, but he was, as Rockhart would put it, nakidnap siya ng Zac into the turret, where he just pretty much met his death right now. And these are mistakes that you don't want to make when IPT is leading now 9-3. So,
like, I have free LP, come here. And that's how it happened.
Alam mo yung sobrang commendable?
Yeah.
Ang laki ng difference sa kills. Look at the gold though, my friend. Not as big a difference. So, this actually transpires because of the fact that if you're going to look at objectives, there are 2 turrets up. So, those 2 turrets up actually makes the biggest difference and actually allows TME to remain a level of relevance in this way, despite the fact that if you look at the kills, it's just way big.
Yeah, and when it comes to itemization also, I gotta hand it to Light, really efficiency. Banshee's Veil with the Morello. Let's say that Trebor has that Cassiopeia, but it's very stationary. When you get Shockwave by the Oriana, that's an easy setup. But right now, here it comes. The charge. No. The charge from the Kled will just make the members of TME flee away.
Okay, so there we go. This is gonna be tricky indeed. That does stop IPT in its tracks for the meantime, but then again, they are definitely full on the resolve to try to make things happen. JLC,
trying to make
the classic JLC flank right here.
Let's see it. He's gonna go for it.
Oh no.
Oh, only onto the Kled. Suzaku gets the first hand, but Trebor is trying to find his way in. Here comes Marky with the Feather Storm. Look at him, he's not being touched at all. He does get exhausted, but what? He's still alive. He'll go straight for it. And with JLC leaving the front line, IPT is just crumbling, and JLC goes back in with engagement as Chouani. But Hate is there for the free hit, and Kulit left for the passive. TME cleans that up.
Oh man, finally. This is what I'm talking about. Signature JLC flank right there. I'm actually surprised that IPT themselves didn't anticipate that type of play from JLC, because that is a strategy that they've been using for quite a lot during their own IPT days. So again, this is just, I'm just having flashbacks right now. This is like a trip down memory lane. Not only do we have like Rocks coming back as a player into the PGS, but then again, just these classic plays that we've known these players to be efficient at, what their signature is. I'm blown away right now. It's like literally watching plays from years past. So let's go ahead and check out what happened here. So that is just beautiful glacial blizzard coming from JLC right there. And it's just a toppling of TME at this point, and Light actually taking a lot of damage, forced to flash away, and that's the tricky part because Light is actually one of the heavy damage dealers because of the lead that he had right then and there. So with him down, it was just TME. JLC, a huge just slab of meat in the front line, and not just that meat, but he actually deals damage himself quite a bit. So,
and check out Rebor.
Wow.
Full HP.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the Cassiopeia right there. He was able to free hit with the Twin Fangs that grants him heal so long as the targets are poisoned. So finally, we're actually seeing some form of life from Trevor. In fact, bawing-bawi siya sa clash na yun. Because earlier, he was 0-2, but now, finally, he has the kills. Again, teamwork is key.
Yes, and from that setup by JLC, that gave him the opportunity. But sadly, the Cloud Trick will go to IPT. IPT's effort is still there. There's still this threat in the game. Anytime, you have to expect the unexpected. I mean, that sounds very generic, but I gotta say, Light has been known to be playing these crucial key moments when it's needed.
Yes.
It does happen. Let's see, will it happen right now? I mean, this is something they need. They cannot afford to lose to a 2-0 against their system. This is a rivalry right now, and now you can see that Kulit just dragged by GLC, and whoa! Look at that shockwave follow-up with the Kulit. Let's bounce, and now here comes the redemption. Rejuvenates the health, and that was a clean setup, but not enough damage.
Dang, I feel like Let's Bounce not being able to kidnap anybody, you know, really didn't work out for them, but still IPT does get the consolation of pushing and taking down that inner mid turret.
That was such a clean setup from IPT. If there was a damage dealer at that time who was very, let's say a burst, that would have been so clean. 2-man, actually.
And at the end of the day, I mean, wow, this is actually, what I actually like to give particular focus on, Baron right now is looking like a very choosy objective because any team that takes Baron, but here we go actually, speaking of Baron, TME goes for that attempt Baron, but is spotted out by that Scrying Orb, so forced to back away for the meantime, Patience, but ooh, fortunately, Koops actually reveals himself. That actually would have been a great setup for TME.
And right now, IPT, they don't want that trauma again from the first game where they face check without any restraint. They have the tools, why not use it? So a control ward is placed down, and IPT will just consider just pressuring the mid lane and forcing TME back.
And these are players learning their lesson. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na what makes a great team is not necessarily the mistakes that they make, but their ability to adapt and learn from those mistakes so that they don't happen
There
again.
comes.
But here comes the last
spotted! Ah man, the element of surprise removed from Kulit.
Oh man, this is just both sides knowing each other, knowing how both sides play. So the readability is definitely there.
Yikes, they're like psychics. I mean,
Yes,
twins in a way.
clairvoyancy is real.
Yeah, if they wait, I sense something. Kulit is gonna make a slingshot there, and that's what happened. They
Indeed.
have that spider sense in a way that wait, where's Kulit? He might be there. Then that's how they pinpoint the. This is what happens when a team plays too long with each other. They begin to really read their movements and become psychic.
Indeed. And that's actually interesting because I feel like not only could we attribute that to the fact that they're sister teams, but I feel like at the same time, that's generally the sense that you need as a pro gamer. You need to kind of make these predictions, read how you think your opponent would be playing out this game. So I feel like that's one of the contributing factors as well, that TME actually knows how to work out for them. Looks like Suzaku actually wants to try to pick a fight with JLC once again, but looks like TME actually lingering around with Baron's side though.
But when it comes to teleport play, I would bet on JLC has an advantage because if ever Suzaku does make a teleport play, will it be enough time for him with the charge shield?
Exactly.
But let's see.
And the thing is that that's actually a great point. But
Yeah.
oh no, I
Here
heard
comes
it
the flag. Oh, here comes a narrow path, but Kulit is there. And seeing how Suzaku is...
Ooh, are they gonna start this?
Yeah, they're gonna walk towards it. Let's see, maybe a jump. Or will
Oh.
Kulit get the jump first? Goes for the Raptors, just scouting out the members of TME. This is how IPT's decision making comes into play. They think they can force them to back away by doing this turret. let's see what's the more worth. Your inhibitor or your Baron? They do get the Baron, but will they get the inhibitor? Let's see. JLC is already there, and he might set up with his Juan. He wants to block away. Here it comes, and whoa, a long-range stun, but a slow will just be happening for JLC. Cannot land that stun, and Coops flashes in, and JLC following up with his team. You can see that Ulit really wants to back away, and Marky is just melting out Suzaku's health, and a shockwave will just only connect onto rocks, and JLC is just chasing down the members. Same with Coops. They want to return fight, but look at the damage coming from Hayes. The crits!
And you know, this is probably going to be worth it right here as TME. Now with that Baron Graph, not to mention it's only Coops that slow hold right now. So there's definitely a lot of options having taken down Suzaku right now. And if anything, that's one of the problems right here. Suzaku actually didn't have his GA up in that fight. So, man, oh man, oh man.
Wow, what an intense game for TME.
I mean, for both sides, this is like probably the best game that we had for day one thus far. Two teams just really showing up. And I think not only do we attribute that to the fact that these are two high caliber teams, but I feel like because of the storyline that's going on behind right here, there's roster changes, not roster changes, like I figured, roster shuffles from both sides. So both teams really want to prove themselves. And I feel like that's where a lot of the hype is coming from. It's because we really want to see who emerges on top, who kind of proves to be the better roster jumble from both teams here.
And will it be the end of the era for the curse for Suzaku?
Indeed. Abangan, sa susunod na kabanata ng League of Legends.
Let's see. Will today mark history for Suzaku? This is the last game. Let's see how it turns out.
Oh,
a clash on the top side. Coops does get caught up in a shockwave, but no follow-up coming from IPT. It all comes down to Light. Light will be the setter. He will make those shockwave plays to really pave way for his members, for his teammates to follow up, but that's a huge step. Like the utility is removed from the Orianna for now.
I like how JLC just kind of backed away once that team connected on him because of that percent hold but
ooh, he does get Scarl but gets stunned. Now that would be a fight turning around for Suzaku's favor. Perhaps JLC not backing down yet. There is the Guardian Angel. So here it comes, a brawl in the bot lane. Very personal. I can feel it from here. And now JLC managed to get away with really dismounting JLC, feeling a bit sour.
That was beautiful. Just when you thought that either one was gonna go down, at the end of the day, both survived, both back away. And what's interesting is that Suzaku didn't even need to proc his GA to just really get things going in that fight. But looks like TME very fast. Look at how fast that dragon was taken down. And man, it's just so hard to tell who might actually win this game because even though TME got that Baron, because usually what we've normally seen from other games is that when you have that Baron, that's virtually a lot of objectives being taken down. I guess partially because of the enemy team's mindset now, oh no, they have Baron, what do we, like there's that certain level of panic because IPT definitely maintaining their composure isn't allowing TME to just really maximize that Baron. If anything, one of the juiciest things that you could really get out of having that Baron is at least taking down one of those inhibitor turrets, but not really happening. If anything, they were only able to take that top inhibitor turret to a slither of health, but still surviving. So this is just really telling of how IPT is keeping their composure despite the storm of things that are happening that team is totally bringing on.
Hands are shaking. There. Blocked. And kidnap. And shockwave. Wow! Coops is not catching a break with two utilities gone from IPT. Coops is pretty happy. He does have the Guardian Angel with Suzaku sticking it towards Trevor. Will he go down? No! There's the redemption. Here comes Marky for the assist. And there is the play coming in from TME with IPT knowing their team composition, knows their limits, backs away and sees JLC on the top side.
The split is real, but then again, I actually love the restraint from TME right there because had they gone down in that fight, that would have potentially been game over because take note that the inhibitor is still down in that mid lane.
Can't be slowed, but he catches the trap! Oh, JLC sends a gift to his shadow, but look at that, IPT not letting him get away. They are tired of it. JLC, you keep split pushing. Let us catch you off guard. Here you go down, and now we will be taking some objectives from you.
Oh no, but then again, here we go. IPT has to take note. Well, they are fully committed to that chase. In the bot lane, there's actually a split push coming here from TME. So then again, tricky distractions. This is somewhat reminiscent of Pandar's in the Infused versus Asian Arena game, wherein he survived long enough to just kind of kite the members of IPT while the rest of his team was split pushing elsewhere. And TME making very good use of that same, in fact, one of the more textbook strategies that we've seen for most PGS games to boot.
Pressure from JLC is really breaking. I think IPT right now is at their breaking point. They're kind of tired. I mean, of JLC. Keeps split pushing. When you see someone like that, you can't concentrate. Let's see, can we go all in on this? But wait, JLC is there in the top lane trying to destroy a turret. He succeeded. Another inhibitor is exposed. It's really this mind game that TME is playing against IPT.
Yes, indeed. Oh, man. But here we go. IPT wants to bring the heat to TME once again as they go for this mid, as they do want to take that inhibitor down to just kind of balance things out into their favor a little bit once again. But then again, look at the goal difference here. Still, again, IPT statistically in the kills is up, but overall gold definitely on TME.
Gullit is trying to find his way, his place in the heart of TME. He wants to go in. Let Gullit inside your heart,
that
TME.
Was so deep, man.
He wants to go inside. He wants you to embrace him. He's setting up, but changes his mind.
Oh man, yung mga pagkakataon.
Oh god, here comes! There is the trap set by Johnny, and a clash breaks out. Kills the JLC in the front. It was Marky in the back lane dishing out damage. The shockwave is not enough. IPT land goes down, and now a triple kill for Marky, and now it's more of a cleanup. It's going to be mopping the floor, and now to rub it in your face, JLC makes a teleport play.
Oh my goodness, TME coming out on top. Suzaku, the only surviving member. Will he survive though? Will not survive. The pentakill. Ladies and gents, that is the pentakill right there for Marky. TME coming up on top in this game. Will they be able to close out this game? Those are very heavy death timers on the side of IPT. Oh man. I got hyped there.
Gullit wanted to, he just wanted a place in TME's heart, but they just don't open themselves up to him, and that's what happened. A pentakill plus JLC with the disrespect. Okay, time to teleport, time to wreck their base, and now TME not even rubbing their dirty shoes in the carpet, just goes in a clean floor of IPT, wrecking their base. Inhibitors are all exposed.
Grabe. I have never been this hyped about casting a game, but then again, TME, day one of the summer split.
Polymorph. No passive left yet, and a 2-max shockwave. Oh, a huge burst score from IPT's light mid laner, but no follow-up yet. Marky will be regenerating that with not much of a difficulty. Here comes Suzaku going for Ghost. It's not yet over. There is still a chance for IPT to make it on top. With Suzaku leading the charge. Tidal Wave coming up to intercept JLC. He cannot be slow though. Here comes the flag from JLC with the Feather Storm. No bind yet. Gullit going straight inside deep into Marky. He does have to heal and the Guardian Angel. And now members are confused. We can't go back. He deals so much damage. There is Rocks too with Lulu.
Oh man, I am getting chills. I am just so pumped for this game right now. TME definitely might have the chance here right here. Suzaku actually down, so well, Coops in exchange though, but still, with all the inhibitors down for IPT, their back is against the wall right now. TME represent indeed. The Eagles have soared and are soaring flying in this game.
Gullit going in again. He is really trying to pick off members, but he does not have the space needed. He wants to kill on members, but they're just scattered around, and now they're just mowing down their turrets, and now it's going to be a matter of patience for IPT, and that's going to be a setback. Gullit is gone. The Nexus is exposed. Suzaku can't catch a break. The cursive's on with TME sweeping the floor 2-0 against their sister team.
Oh my goodness. TME.
TME, what?
I'm amazed right now because I feel like this is finally TME's time. I've continuously been preaching. So let's go ahead and check out what happened here actually in this quick replay. So this cleanup that happened right here, TME, look at the domination. I mean, there's just so many beautiful plays from TME throughout this game that this is one of those definitive clashes that has really defined TME into a win. Like, sure, IPT could defend. I mean, like, they tried to fight enough, but then again, TME ultimately just came up. And here we go, ladies and gents. Boom! Baya! Pentakill for Marky. First pentakill of the summer split, nonetheless. Wow! I mean, I need to... You go for it, Vulcan. I'm just overwhelmed right now by what happened. I mean, what can you say? That was crazy, man. First day of the summer split.
First day of the Bacchus Pro Gaming Series of the summer split. I have huge expectations. The caliber of the teams have just raised the bar in what they considered as a pro gaming series. And I gotta say, the new teams coming in, the two new teams Infused and Asian Arena, I'm really scared for them. This is going to be something they have to match. They have made their pro gaming series dream come true by entering as one of the top 8 teams, but can they stay? This is a chance for them to really show themselves what they've got.
That's definitely the big question mark, but let's go ahead and check out the stats here for this game. I mean, it's clearly, again, Marky 100%, seconded by JLC. My MVPs for this game, that pentakill was just the cherry on top for TME, showing that they are in it to win it. They are not going to let anything phase them, and this roster swap only made them stronger in this game right here. And I just can't wait to see. I'm wondering that the damage is actually for these sides right here, because...
But you also got to hand it to JLC, who's that really frontline threat, and he always makes use of the teleport so well, and going to the damage. Look at JLC.
He out-damaged every single person on IPT. And that's a Sejuani to boot.
It's a Sejuani out-damaging all members of IPT.
I am so hyped. This is without a doubt the best and my favorite game from TME thus far. Wow. I
gotta say, I'm pretty excited for the second day of the first week. But everyone, you just witnessed TME, the sister school, the sister team, the sister team of IPT really sweeping the floor, showing them what they've got with that pentakill at the end, and not to mention the rotations they've fought. So guys, I guess that will be it. This is the last match of day 1. We'll be moving on to day 2 tomorrow. Stay tuned. It's still going to be the same time, 3 p.m. Stay tuned for the YouTube Live. We are still going to be on YouTube and Facebook Live. And follow our Facebook page for more updates. Way up in your shoutcasters for the last match. I am Vulcan, and joining with me is my co-caster, Arctic. And we will see you tomorrow. He makes his way onto permafast stack. Will proc even if he flashed away. Here comes the collection president of JLC for a tower dive. Marky is free to spam his feathers. A shockwave combo. The petrified case only affects Kulit with Shadow picking up a kill. Here comes the teleport from the top lane. IPT sees Saku goes into JLC. Here comes the Feather Star. Marky is not being touched right now. Only the turret. Not enough mana for him to spray that much. But here comes Rocks for the assist, and now a re-engage from Kulit, though, a knockup, a 2-man knockup. Is able to free hit with ease, and now Marky is trying to clean up the fight. Will he get a kill? He cannot, he's restricted by that mana.
Oh man, I'm taking that back right away, but it looks like they're not done yet.
It hurts right here, and that's an ace. Only onto the glitch. Suzaki gets the first hand, but Trevor is trying to find his way in. Here comes Marky with the Feather Storm. Look at him, he's not being touched at all. He does get exhausted, but what? He's still alive. He'll go straight for it. And with JLC leaving the front line, IPT is just crumbling, and JLC goes back in with engagement with Johnny. But Hate is there for the free hit, and Kulit left for the passive. But came to the spot.
Oh man.
Here comes. There is the trap set by Johnny, and a clash breaks out. Kills the JLC in the front. It was Marky in the back lane dishing out damage. The shockwave is not enough. IPT leg goes down, and now a triple kill for Marky. And now it's more of a cleanup. It's going to be mopping the floor, and now to rub it in your face, JLC makes a teleport play.
Oh my goodness, TME coming out on top. Suzaku, the only surviving member. Will he survive though? Will not survive. The pentakill! Ladies and gents, that is the pentakill right there for
No passive left yet, and a 2-match shockwave. Oh, a huge push score from IPT's light mid laner, but no follow-up yet. Marky will be regenerating that with not much of a difficulty. Here comes Suzaku going for Ghost. It's not yet over. There is still a chance for IPT to make it on top. With Suzaku leading charge. Hannibal coming up to intercept JLC. He cannot be slow though. Here comes the flash from JLC with the Feather Storm. No bite yet. Golin going straight inside deep into Marky. He does have the heal and the Guardian Angel. And now members are confused. We can't go back. We deal so much damage. There is Rock 2 with the end. That's going to be a setback. Golin's gone. The Nexus is exposed. Suzaku can't catch a break. The curse lives on with TME sweeping the floor 2-0 against their sister team.
Oh